Hello guys, and welcome to another episode here in Coding Venue. In today's video we are going to be building a clone of the home page of the Instagram website, and the main idea is to see how far we can go using Bootstrap as much as possible. So with that in mind, let's see what we are going to be building. So if we take a look at the Instagram homepage, here we have a top navigation and we have two columns. On the left side we are going to be building like these images here, where we show the stories of the people that we follow, and also below of that we have all of the posts of the people that we are following as well. And on the right side of the content, here we have the image profile with the username and the name of the profile that we are logging in, and we have some suggestions. So basically that's all that we're going to be building in this episode, and let's see how it goes. So here I have an empty project, but I have some assets that we are going to be using for this video. I have some profile images, actually just one post image, and we have the Instagram logo here as well. So now the first thing that we want to do is to create our main file or index file, and from here we are going to use the HTML5 structure. So now that we have this structure here, we need to now install the Bootstrap components in our project. So in the Bootstrap website, we can download the files. We can also npm install the Bootstrap, but for this video we are just going to use the CDN. And here we can copy this CSS file. I'm going to copy this file here, and we are going to paste that in our project just before the title. So we copy that, and now we have the CSS. We are just going to format the document so it looks better. And now we are going to do the same for the JavaScript files, and these files are going to be right before the body ends. So we're just going to paste that there, and we are going to format the document as well. So now we save this, and we should have a Bootstrap installed in our project. Okay, perfect. So now the first thing that we want to do is our top bar here. So for that we are going to use the nav system that Bootstrap has for us. So in that case I'm just going to go to the documentation and copy this nav element that we have here, and we are going to wrap this inside a div. So here we are just going to paste that, and we have our nav there. So now I want to use a container, so I'm just going to use a container class, and inside our container I'm going to use the call9 class that Bootstrap has. So now that we have these elements, I want to start adding the logo, the search input, and the menu here. So these columns I want them to be a flex element, so I'm going to say the flex. I'm going to say a flex row, and I'm just going to justify the content to be between, and that will give us the same effect that Instagram has for these elements on the top bar. So for the logo, I want to use one of their class that they have. So it is an app brand that I'm just going to copy and paste as well, and I'm going to use our logo that we have in the asset. So I'm going to images and the Instagram logo, and I'm going to delete the width and height because we don't want that in our image. Now we have the logo here. Now next thing will be to add our search input here on the center. So same, I'm going to use the search that they have here in the examples on the documentation. They have these forms. I'm just going to copy this form, paste it here, format the document, and we don't want to use the input, so we are going to delete the button there. And for our menu, we are going to add a list here, and we are going to say that our list to be list inline, and for our list items we're going to say this to be list item inline, and we are going to add our icons here. So for the icons, we are going to use the icons that Bootstrap has. I already have those selected, so I'm just going to copy and paste those icons in here. So we're going to say the elements to be a link, a reference to the link to be empty for now, and here we are just going to paste all of the icons. So this one, it is going to be for the home. Just going to copy and paste all of the four menus that Instagram has. I believe there are 4. Yeah, 5. No, 4 actually. Yeah, 4, and the other one is the profile picture. But then I'm going to just do that really quick. I'm just going to change the second one. Alright, so I'm going to change this, and the last one. Alright, let's see how this looks on the website now. If we open this file on the browser, we can see here that we have our elements in place. So now I think I typed the wrong class for the menus here, because I think it is list inline item. Yeah, it is list inline item for the elements, so it is placed on the same line. So yeah, we're going to fix that, and we go to our website, and we can see now the elements being displayed correctly on the same line. So now if we inspect this website, we can see that our column is not on the center. So for that, we're going to add justify content center here on our container. So in our container here, I'm just going to say justify content center. That should fix that problem. Yep. Now if we see our menu here, we can see that we have a space in the menus. We have like a margin on the bottom, so we are just going to say that our list to have a margin of 0. So now that way we can get our elements not to have the margin. Okay, perfect. Now that will help us, because we want to align these items to be on the center, all of these elements. So in our column here, we're going to say align our items to the center. So now we save this, we have all of our elements in the center. So then later we can see that we have a blue background. So later I'm just going to create a custom class so we can have these elements to be black. So we are going to for now we're just going to add our profile picture here. So for that I want to add a new element in our list, and I want to say same list inline item, and in here I'm going to also add a link reference, and we are going to wrap our image inside a div. So say div in image, I'm going to say source to be our images, assets, images, went to the profiles, and we are going to use our profile 6, the image number 6 here in our assets. And for now we are just going to leave it like that, and if we go to the browser, if we refresh, we see the image being displayed here. So now we are just going to fix that so it looks more like this image right here. So okay, now in our wrapper component here, we are going to set a class, and this class is from Bootstrap as well, so it gives us like the circle shape on the div element. We're going to say overflow hiding on this one. We want to say that display flex, and we are going to justify the content on the center, and we are going to align our items on the center as well. And our image is going to have a custom style where we say transform, and we are going to scale this to 1.5, and our width is 100%, and our position to be absolute position, and say left 0. Okay, now the next thing that I want to do is create a custom class for our profile image. So I'm going to say here that our wrapper of the image, we want to say top bar profile photo, and we are going to create a custom CSS for these elements. So to say top bar, going to copy this, paste that in our index, and I'm going to set a width of 1.5 m and a height of 1.5 m, and we are going to say position to be relative. So now that didn't work because I haven't added the CSS file. So I'm just going to say link rel style sheet and the reference to the index.css. So now if we save this and we go to the website, we can see now that we have our profile image here. So now what I want to do is maybe center this on the middle with these other elements. So for that, I'm just going to say in our list item of the profile image aligned middle, and that should fix it. Okay, so now I think this is a little bit too close to each other, so I'm just going to add a margin on the left, this item. So I'm going to say margin left of 2. I'm just going to copy and paste all of the elements here. Margin left, and you can see now that we have our elements here. So now I don't like this blue color, so we want to have like a black color like the Instagram website here. So for that we are going to create a new class in our elements here. I'm going to say class of link menu, and we are gonna be doing that for all of our elements here. So just going to copy and paste, and we don't need to do that with the profile because we are not using like an icon there. So here I'm going to add a new link menu, and I'm going to say color black, and that should fix it. So okay, so now it looks better. Okay, perfect. Now it looks the toolbar looks more like the Instagram website. So yeah, what will be the next thing? The next thing that we are going to do is our columns here for the content. So we are going to start with the story card right here. So for that we are just going to create a new in our index after our div of this div is wrapping all the navigation. So we're just going to set a new div, and inside our div we are going to add a container as well, and we're going to say to be a flex, and we're going to justify this content to the center. And we're going to use also a column 9 for our width of the website as well. So from here we want to also include our the row class. So inside our row we are going to say here the start of stories, so that way we don't get confused when the code starts getting bigger. So end of stories. Okay, now that we have a row here, right now I want to add a row of inside a column of a column of 9 or 8, sorry, a column of 8 for our content. So that will be inside our column 8. And for the site navigation I want to use a class of column of 4. So that way we can have here our content and here our site navigation, this one right here. So here in the stories we are going to create a card, so we use the card class for that, and we are going to use a card body. So now I'm just going to type some text here so we can see. Okay, perfect. So now I want to add a new list here. The list, it is going to contain all of our stories. So I'm going to say a list with the class of list inline item, and here inside our list inline item we want to add a button. This button, it is going to wrap our stories components. So from here what we can do is to add a new div, and we want to say flex, and we want to do the column, flex column, and we are going to align these items to the center. All right, so this way we can have our image here. So for that, I'm going to use actually the same code that we use for the profile here. So I'm just going to copy and paste that there. We just need to do some small modifications here on the classes. And for the profile, I'm going to use profile 1, and the style is the same, and then and we want to add then a small and this one is going to contain the username. So I'm going to say some folder. This is one of the profiles that is going to be here. So as we can see, we have the username here and the image right here. So we need to now remove border, basically just clean this a little bit more. So okay, so for the image we want to align to the center, and we don't want to use this glass because we want to make the image bigger. So in this case, I'm going to create a new class, a story profile photo, and this story profile photo, it is going to have a width. I'm going to copy these elements here. I'm going to copy and paste. We're going to use pixels here. I'm going to make this 56 pixels. The width and the height, it is the same. We want to still use our position of relative. And what else? So for the button here, I want to use the class of btn, and we don't want to have a margin, a padding, and a margin as well. We don't want to have those. So if we refresh, we can see now it looks a little bit better. So now I want to add this border that displays when a user has a new story. So for that, I'm just going to say here on the wrapper of the profile photo, I'm just going to say border, border danger. So we make it the border to be red. So we just need to make the width of this border to be bigger. So for that, in the CSS, I'm going to just say border width to be 2 pixels. Button here. Now save this, and it looks similar to the website here. Okay, perfect. So now I'm just going to see where that extra, I'm just going to say where we can find that. So I don't know where is it. Okay, here. Perfect. Okay, now we are just going to copy and paste this profile here, and that as well. Now here I want to use the profile 2, and I want to use a different name, so I want to use Peter McKinnon here. Right. Okay, now perfect. Now I want to do some changes here on the card. So for example, on the card I want to make a, I want to actually not on the card, on the body, I want to make this flex and justify the content on the start of the card. All right, that didn't do anything. And on the list, I want to also add a list inline, and I want to say to have a margin bottom of 0. So as we can see now, it looks so much better without small changes. I want to make the content of this entire section here of the website to have a margin. So here on the wrapper of the entire content, I'm just going to say margin top of 4. So now that looks so much better. Okay, perfect. So now we are going to start creating our postcards here. So we want to have a card with a header and a body, and then we are just going to add these icons and add this other information. So alright, so now that we have here we and the stories, we're just going to add a new one. Set start of posts and of posts. So here we are going to start with a div, and we're going to say flex column, and that will be for now. Alright, so each post is going to be contained inside a card. So we have a card, and the card has card header, and in the header here we are going to add our profile with the username. So we are going to add this information. We are not going to add the location for now. We're just going to add the profile in the username. So I'm going to reuse the same image that we have been using for our profiles. So here, and the username is going to be a spawn, and we are going to make the class to be to have a weight bold, the username, and we're just going to use same folder. The profile can be one, doesn't really matter. If we go to the website here, we see that it is vertical, so we need to make this horizontal, like this one right here. So we are going in our card header, we are going to add div that wraps. I don't think we have it done right. Yeah, we need to add a div that wraps our image and username. So flex row and align items to the center, and copy this information inside this HTML element. Okay, so now if we see a website here, we have this now being in the horizontal position. We want to add some margin here for the between the photo and the username. So we are going to do that in our profile image wrapper. So there's a margin right of 3, and we don't want to use this class. We are going to create a new one with the name of post profile photo. So in our index, we're going to add basically almost the same, but the size is going to be different. 46 for this one, and yeah. So now if we refresh that, now we see that that looks so much better now. So now we want to add some space between these two cards. So here on the start of post, I'm just going to say margin top of 4, margin bottom of 4 as well. So this will give us this result here. So okay, perfect. Okay, so now we want to add this image for the post, and for that we are going to use an aspect ratio class that Bootstrap has. So I'm going to search for aspect ratios, and here we can see all the different aspect ratios, but for now we just want to use the one the square ratio. So we add let me see where the car ends. So here we are going to add our class of car body, and inside here we paste the information of the aspect ratio class from Bootstrap, and here we are just going to change this. Instead of iframe, we're going to use image, and the source is going to be assets images. I want this to auto complete, so assets. All right, okay, no why. Okay, we are going to use assets. Okay, never mind. Images, posts, and post one that. What's the extension? Let me see. JPG. All right. Okay, now we refresh the website. You see the image here. Now we want to remove the padding that we have in our car body. So in the car body, I'm just going to say padding of 0, and that should fix that issue. Okay, perfect. Okay, great. Now we are going to add these buttons here, the like, the comment, the share, and the save buttons. I already have those buttons, so I'm just going to copy and paste those, but we are going to add that right before we add the image of the post. So we are going to wrap that inside a div, and we are going to set the display to be flex. So flex, and we want to justify the contents on to be between. So justify content between. Well, that would be for now on this part. And here we want to have a list with the class of list inline, and this one, it is going to be for the buttons on the left side, this one right here. So we're going to create a list, and the class here is list inline item, and because these are buttons, we're just going to wrap it inside a button, and let's just add the class here, the button class, and we are just going to add the icon here. So I'm just going to copy and paste the icons that I have, and I'm going to do this two more times. So I'm just going to do this real quick. So right, okay, perfect. Now let's see. Okay, now we have these buttons here, as we can see. We just need to align them a bit, and but for now we are just going to add this save button on the right side. So here where our list ends, we're going to add a new item, and this one is going to be aligned on the right side. So we say button, we add the name, the same class, and basically we are going to copy and paste the icon that I already have had for this action button there. So okay, it looks good. All right, so we just need to make some changes that it looks better. I'm going to remove the padding that all of these buttons have. So I'm just going to the buttons, and I'm just going to set padding of 0. Alright, just padding of 0 on all of the buttons. I'm just going to copy the whole element and same for the save. Alright, and now it is too close to each other, so let's just add a margin left of 2 on the list items. So the first one we don't need to add any of that, so but the second one, the third one, margin left of 2 and margin left of 2. Alright, let's see how it looks. Okay, perfect. So now we want to add some space on the sides, on the top of this entire component here. So for that, we have here our container of those menus. So we are just going to say to have, let me see here, I think, okay, padding left of 3, the right the same, on the top it is going to be the same, and on the bottom it is going to be 1 for now. Alright, so now we save, and I think it looks so much better. Okay, now we have our buttons here and everything looks good. Okay, so now what we want to do is add our the likes, the username, and the description. Actually, all of this is really simple, so we are doing that after the menu we just created. So the menu starts here and ends here, so let's wrap that inside our div, and inside this div let's just add strong. For now we're not going to add any classes, but let's just how many likes this, okay, let's just use that same number. Alright, perfect. And for the username, let's use strong as well, and Sam Calder. And for the description, we are going to use a paragraph. So let's use the same description that this picture has. Alright, and save this and see how it looks. Alright, so now we need to display these elements to be displayed on blocks, so each one has its own line. So let's do it. Alright, so for the likes we are going to say to have a class of block, and let's do the same for the username. And I don't think it's really necessary for the description because it's already block by default, but yeah. And now we want to save this, go to the website and see the changes. Okay, I forgot to add the likes here. Okay, perfect. Let's see. Okay, we need to add a padding to be the same as the buttons that we add here. So in the container here, I'm going to say class and add a padding left of 3, padding right of 3, and that will be for now. I'm just going to add a number for the bottom as well. Yeah, let's see how it looks. Okay. Okay, perfect. So now let me inspect that and see. Alright, so this list right here has this margin button, so we are going to remove that. So these likes are closer to that menu. So this list, just going to margin button 0. That should fix it. Yeah, it does. Okay, perfect. So far so good. Okay, now let's add these rest of elements. We are going to add the view, all the comments, the username and the comment, and how when the post was made, and this comment section below. So yeah, okay, let's do that. All right, so okay, so for the comments, to view all the comments, I'm going to wrap that inside a button. I'm just going to add the class of button for BTM, and I'm going to add a span with a class of text muted. And see view all. Let's use the same number. 25 comments, and let's see how it looks. Okay, now I'm just going to remove the padding of this button because it needs to be the same of this one. So just going to say padding 0, save. Now here, okay, perfect. Okay, so now let's see what else. We are going to add our comments. So for that, let's wrap it inside a div. For the comments, and each comment it is going to be inside a div. So for the username, let's use strong. This is the same username that appears here. Yeah, I can copy this and paste that here. Okay, and for the comment itself, let's just copy and paste the comment. Okay, and let's do that because we need 2 comments there. So let's copy this username. Alright, and this one right here. Okay, let's see how it looks. Alright, now we need to make this one to have their own line. So let's just make the username to have a class of block. So let's copy and paste that here. Okay, let's see how it looks. Alright, that's perfect. And now let's see what element. Okay, so now this paragraph has a margin on the bottom, so we want to remove that so it looks more like this design here. So let's go to the paragraph here, and the description, let's add to has a margin bottom of. So let's see. Okay, now it looks so much better, man. Okay, what's next? Next will be to add this say a comment section. And yeah, let's see how we can do it. So we have this section below. Let's add it inside let's add it here. doesn't really matter. Let's wrap it inside a div. Let's add a form here and an input. And this input is going to have a placeholder or add a comment. I think it has 3 dots. Yep. Add a comment. And let's use a button. Right. My bad. Let's use a button here with the class of btn, and let's add the post name here for that. So let's see how it looks. All right. Okay, so now we need to make this input section to have the same width of this card. So for that, here in the input, we add a class of width 100, and see. Okay, and now our post, we can see, needs to be on the same row of this input. So for that, we're going to make our main class to have our main class, the wrapper class, to have a position relative, and our button needs to have a position absolute. Okay, now let's see. Okay, so now from here, what we can do is to remove the border of the input. Let's just remove it, and let's add a padding of 3 so it has more space. Okay, and for this button, we are going to use a custom class so we can position this button here. Right, so I want to add a primary button here, and we're going to fix all the colors later. Also, we need to add a more border here on the top of the add comment section. Alright, so here I'm just going to say bt post. Alright, I don't know, just a simple name. And the button, it has already a position of absolute, so I'm just going to say right to be 0 and bottom 0 and top 0, and that should position the button there. So also, I don't want the blue color for the background, so I'm just going to add an extra properties here. So for the background color transparent. I don't want borders on the button. Let's see how it looks like that. Alright, so now for the color, I want to use this blue color here. So I already have the color, just let me see. Okay, I'm just going to copy the color that I want. I'm just going to say color. Okay, and the weight of this text is bold, so I'm just going to make it the font weight to be 600. Alright, and the refresh. Okay, and now for the hover, when I hover on this button, I don't want the blue color as well, so I'm just going to say btn post hover, and also for the btn post focus. Alright, I want to also remove all of these elements, and Let's see. Okay, now when I click on this, it seems like it is not picking up the focus, so maybe we need to make the transparent to be important, and the same for the color. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. Now the only thing that we need to add here is the time that the post was made. So we are going to do that really quick. So here in our code, just right before the uh, I think we can do it here right before our comments. Yeah, I'm just going to add small, and the class is going to be muted because we want it to be gray. So text muted, and let's just add a 1 hour ago, right? Okay, perfect. I think it looks good. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So yeah, that's basically it for the postcard. And now the next thing that we want to start working on is in our site column here. We are going to start with the profile information, username, the name, and the profile picture. So yeah, let's see how we can do that. Okay, so one thing before start working on the site column, I forgot to add a margin here on the top of the comment section. So I'm just going to do that really quick. So yeah, let me see. Here we have, okay, so I think I need to add a custom class. So I'm just going to say comment box, save this, and we are going to add our border here. So border top of 1 pixel solid, and let's use light gray for that. So okay, perfect. Now it looks similar. All right. So now, yeah, so now I think we can start working on this column here. Okay, so now that's something that we need to do inside our column 4. That it is our site column, the right column. So we want to start with this information here, the profile picture and all of that. So we're going to add a div for that, and inside this div, let's just use one of the blocks for the images. Use this one. All right, so okay, so here we can use another image. So let's use the profile 6. All right, and let's add our information about the username and the name of the profile. So let's add this into span. So this is like the username, and let's add another one for the name, and this one it is the name. So all right, okay, let's see how it looks this right now. Okay, so it looks weird, so let's just fix that. All right, so for the profile, let's use another custom class. Let's make this side profile picture. We don't want to use a margin right at the moment, and let's not use danger color for the profile. And maybe here in the wrapper of all of that, all of those information, let's make it to be flex flex row, and let's align the items to the center, and let's see how it looks. That all right? Okay, so it looks weird because we haven't create our class for the profile, so let's do that really quick. So we are using side profile picture here. I just add it down here. All right, so for that, all right, so for that we are going to use basically the same properties for all of our pictures, but this one it is going to have the width and the height is going to be the same. Let's just remove this border, see how it looks. Okay, perfect. And now for our information of the here, the username and the name, let's create just a custom class for that. Let's call this profile info, and let's do the same for the username, the name, because info, because we want to customize this, and Bootstrap doesn't allow us to do it like an easier way. So in this situation we will need to do it by ourselves. So let's make it this like the name, right? So let's just copy the profile info here, and the profile info username, and the profile info name. All right, so for our profile info, that is the wrapper of these two elements. Let's just make this one to have a font size maybe of 14 pixels for everything, and for the username we want that to have its own line, so let's display block. So for this we could use Bootstrap, but for now let's just leave it there. Alright, so the font weight, the username has like a bolder version than the name, so make it 700. Alright, and for the name, alright, for the name let's use a font size of 12 pixels. I think this one goes right here. So yeah, okay, perfect. So now going back to this information right here, maybe on the profile info we can add a margin left of 3. Okay, so it looks better there. Yeah, basically I think that's pretty much it for this part here. So I don't know, I think the image could be a little bit bigger, so let's just make it bigger. It's kind of weird. I don't think we need this information right here anyways, so I'm just going to delete this profile info. What was I going to do? Yeah, I was going to increase the size of the profile, so let's get 56. All right, so yeah, that seems about right. All right, let's see, we have some margin here. I don't think we do. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, now let's build these suggestions component here. So let's see how we can start doing that. So all right, let's add. So yeah, let's add another div element, and inside this element let's add another one for the header. So we are going to uh, have the suggestions title and the see all title. So let's add a small here with the suggestions for you. The other one is see all, I think. Check. I think is alright. I think I need to use capital A. Alright. So now we want this to be have a space between these two tiles here. So let's just make the container of those two to be flex flex row and justify content to be between. Alright, so okay, that looks perfect. Okay, nice. Let's now add a margin for this container here. So plus margin top of 4. Alright. Okay, so now let's start adding all these profile suggestions here. So for that we are going to create another div, and let's add a new div for our profile suggestion container, I guess, right? So now here we want to add let's see, we want to add the profile image with the username and the follow button. So for that, let's add first a container for all of these elements, and I guess we can use this one. And now for the profile and the username, let's add another div where we can attach this image block here with the username as well. So let's use a strong with let's just put Instagram for the suggestion, and for the follow button let's use button. Let's just add the class of btn primary, and here we can just say follow. Right, let's see how it looks. Alright, okay, perfect. So now we just need to fix all the position of this. So for the entire container, let's just make it flex row and justify content between, and this should put the follow here on the right side, and this the profile and the username here on the left side. So let's see, for the username and this one, the profile, let's use also flex row and justify the content No, I don't think it's justified. It's align because we want to align the items to the center. All right. Nice. Okay. And let's add some margin on the left so it doesn't look that weird here. On the username, or actually name, because I don't think they're using the usernames here. Oh no, we are using actually the name, so I'm just going to change this to that, and let's add a margin left of 3. Let's see how it looks. All right, and now I want to change this size of these profile images so it looks smaller. So let's just make it here side, or let's make it suggest. Let me see. Yeah, for now we are not gonna use the. Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's use this. The circle that displays when there is a new story, so it doesn't really matter. All right. So suggest profile photo, and let's just make it smaller. So let's copy this one right here, and let's test with 46. Yeah, I think it doesn't look that bad. Maybe this Instagram could be closer to the picture. To think, and border danger, so we gave it like this news story info here. So okay, perfect. So now the button here, we need to fix all of this. So we don't want the button to have any padding, so we remove all the padding, and we want to create a custom class for that. So let's make this suggest follow, or actually suggest follow, something like that. All right, so let's just in here, let's copy and paste that there, and I think it's pretty much the same as the one that we are using here on the post. So maybe let's change this to btn ig, so we can reuse the button. All right, and we are using btn post. Let's replace that with btn ig. All right, and so now we can use it here in our custom button. Let's save this and see how it looks. All right, okay, perfect. So now I think we need to make this follow button a little bit smaller. So for that we can use the class that Bootstrap has for the button small. So we can say btn sm, and yeah, okay. Now let's add some margin on top and on the bottom. All right, so we do it that here. So okay, so now we do that here, margin top of picking up 3, margin bottom of 3. All right, okay, perfect. So now we are just going to change this profile image. So we change this one to be 3, use that. And let's just copy and paste all of these 3 elements so we have like a suggestion of accounts to follow. So let's call this one DC Comics, and let's call this one CW, I think. And for the profile images, we are going to use the 4 here and the 5. Yeah, okay. So this one is not working because I think the profile is PNG. Alright, yeah, it is PNG. Okay, perfect. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or any suggestions, you can use the comments below. And like this video, subscribe for more videos like this one, and see you guys in the next one.